In early 1945, the war in the Pacific had reached a brutal turning point. American forces had spent years island hopping across vast stretches of ocean, fighting through jungles, reefs, and volcanic rock. Each victory came at a cost. And each new island proved that Japan would not surrender easily. As the United States moved closer to the Japanese homeland, one small island stood directly in the path forward. Its name was Iwo Jima, barely 8 square miles of volcanic rock. Iwo Jima sat between the Mariana Islands and Japan itself. To American planners, it was a critical strategic prize. Japanese fighters based on Iwo Jima intercepted U.S. bombers. Heading toward Tokyo, the island also served as an early warning station, giving Japan precious time to prepare defenses against incoming air raids for the United States. Capturing Iwo Jima meant neutralizing those threats and gaining airfields that could serve as emergency landing sites for damaged bombers returning from missions over Japan. Thousands of American airmen's lives depended on it. But the island was unlike any battlefield the Americans had faced before. General Tadamichi Kurabayashi, the Japanese commander on Iwo Jima, knew he could not win the battle in a traditional sense. He knew the United States possessed overwhelming naval power, air superiority, and manpower. Instead of defending the beaches, Kurabayashi designed a defense meant to bleed the Americans dry. He turned the island itself into a weapon. Over months, Japanese forces carved more than 18 miles of tunnels beneath the volcanic rock, bunkers, pillboxes, artillery positions. And underground hospitals were connected in a vast hidden network. Positions were reinforced with steel and concrete. Artillery was carefully hidden and pre-registered. Nothing was left to chance. Kurabayashi issued strict orders. No banzai charges. No suicidal beach defenses. The enemy would be allowed to land. Only then would the killing begin. On February 19, 1945. The American invasion began. From the decks of hundreds of ships, U.S. Marines watched as naval guns pounded the island for days. Battleships and cruisers had shelled Iwo Jima. Planes dropped bombs, rockets, and napalm. Many believed that little could survive such punishment. But when the Marines landed, they discovered the truth. The beaches of Iwo Jima were made of soft volcanic ash. Every step sank deep. Vehicles bogged down. Instantly, there was almost no cover, and at first, there was silence. No gunfire, no resistance. Then, suddenly, the island erupted. Hidden artillery, mortars and machine guns opened fire from every direction. Marines were cut down in the open. Tanks burned. Medical corpsmen rushed forward under fire to drag the wounded back. The black sand became a killing ground, unlike previous landings. The enemy did not reveal himself fully. Japanese forces fired, disappeared into tunnels, then reappeared elsewhere. Every yard forward was contested. Every ridge concealed death. Mount Suribochi loomed over the southern end of the island. From its slopes, Japanese gunners rained fire onto the beaches. Marines fought upward through bunkers and caves, often clearing positions only to be attacked from behind minutes later. The ground shook constantly from explosions. Progress was measured in feet, not miles. The fighting was relentless and personal. Flamethrowers were used to clear caves. Grenades were thrown into dark openings, followed by bursts of gunfire. The enemy was rarely seen until he was only yards away. Sleep became impossible. Even at night, Japanese soldiers emerged from tunnels to infiltrate American lines, killing wounded Marines, attacking foxholes and vanishing back underground. The psychological toll was immense. On February 23rd, after days of brutal fighting, Marines reached the summit of Mount Suribochi. A small group raised an American flag, later. A larger flag replaced it, and the moment was captured in a photograph that would become one of the most iconic images in American history. But the battle was far from over. Northern Iwo Jima was even more heavily fortified. Ridges, ravines, and hidden strongpoints turned every advance into a nightmare. Marines fought for weeks through terrain that offered the enemy constant advantage. Casualties mounted at a staggering rate. Entire companies were reduced to fragments. Officers fell alongside enlisted men. Medics became targets. Replacement troops arrived and were thrown directly into combat. Kurabayoshi's strategy worked. The Japanese defense inflicted enormous losses, but it could not stop the inevitable. American forces adapted. Tactics evolved. Combined arms assaults slowly crushed the tunnel network. Each bunker destroyed weakened the system. Each ridge taken closed another avenue of resistance. By mid-March, organized Japanese resistance collapsed. General Kurabayashi was killed, having fought to the end alongside his men, on March 26, 1945. The Battle of Iwo Jima officially ended. The cost was staggering. Nearly 7,000 Americans were killed. Over 19,000 were wounded. More than a quarter of all Marines who fought on Iwo Jima became casualties. For the Japanese, almost the entire garrison was destroyed. Yet the island served its purpose. In the months that followed, thousands of damaged American bombers landed safely on Iwo Jima instead of crashing into the ocean. Thousands of airmen lived because of that small island. Iwo Jima was not a battle of maneuver or speed. It was a battle of endurance. It proved that American forces would fight through unimaginable conditions against an enemy determined to die and still advance. The island did not break easily, but America did not stop, and that resolve would carry the war to its final conclusion.